Hi guys, good morning. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. I greatly appreciate them. This is the daily forecast for all signs. It is a shared collective reading. It is originally created for the last day of the month, April 30th, our new moon in Taurus during Taurus season. So we're ending out the month with a deck in the sign of the season on a new moon. It's kind of a very Oprah full circle moment. I'm loving it. This is for anybody who sees it whenever you see it. Do not be caught up in on the date. If you're seeing this on a date that's not April 30th, but yet the message still makes sense, please take it and use it. I do believe that there's a fluidity to, how information finds its way to us through spirit or our higher selves. So trust that, you're seeing it when you're supposed to rather than when it was originally created for. Those of you that follow along, you know how it works. I will be referencing back to the underpinning energy of the Sunday reading. For those of you that are new, you can always check that reading out in the lower left-hand corner. At the end of this reading, it just shows you what was forecasted starting on Sunday as the cards that are at play underneath the cards that we look at daily going through the week. So, beyond that, please check out the drop-down menu, new people, and just so that you know how to follow me on social media, things to keep in mind when utilizing the channel. If you want to book a private reading, there's a way to do that. There's a Linktree link. You can pose any questions to me via my Facebook business page or here. Please leave a question or comment on the video if it resonates with you or if you're enjoying my content. Please, I'd love to read them. I will always heart them or respond if I have a moment to, or if there's a question that's left. Please hit that thumbs up button. That greatly helps me. When that ratio is high to views, I think that helps YouTube to see that I'm creating content. I'm a very small channel, so I need all the help I can get from my viewers to get the word out there. Share my videos out on your social media feeds or in groups where it would be appreciated. Don't share it anywhere where it's going to cause controversy. That's not the point of these readings. And then beyond that, subscribe to the channel, please. Hit that notification bell so you get notified when a new video goes up. I put one out every day. Sometimes I do lives. I've been really bad with my lives lately. I need to get back on track with that. I just have had a new job and haven't really figured out where that fits back into things yet. So, but you'll also be notified when I do lives. All right, so let's see here. How are we finishing out not only this week, but this month? Let's look at that. Excuse me, I was just having a sneezing attack this morning. Oh, wow. Okay. Big card to say goodbye to. The moon. And like I said, the moon is a new moon tonight. So of particular significance, right? We have a new moon. New moons are about creation. It is in the sign of Taurus, which it is Taurus season. So I kind of like that. And when this is just me like hypothesizing, right? But when I think about new moon in Taurus, I think about how productive, dedicated, steadfast Taurus can be as a sign, right? Taurus is oftentimes, you guys can be pricks, let's just be honest, for my Taurians that are out there, but I love a good Taurus. Like male, female, it doesn't matter. Taurian energy to me is sexy as hell. Y'all are in it for the long haul. You will take the brunt of whatever needs to get done to get her done. And, it's just like, this is the way that I view Taurus, right? You guys are strong-willed. Yes, oftentimes you can be stubborn, but you mean well, right? You have good hearts. You love decadence. You love comfort, right? You love providing for those that you care about, right? And you'll do so even kind of to your own detriment in a way. That's just the way I sort of perceive Taurus in my mind. And I think it's very sexy. I just think that you guys love with all your heart when you finally do get around to loving, when you're really willing to let that guard down. And you really do love wholeheartedly and oftentimes will stay in situations a lot longer than maybe you should. But I'm a Pisces, so I'm naturally attracted to Taurians anyways. So, And God, if I could find a good old Taurus in my life, oh, I'd be one happy bitch. Let's just say that. Because y'all are good lovers too. Like that big earthy love, like just like grounded, centered, steadfast, like a rock. And that's what Pisces, us being as imaginative and wispy and all out there in the ethers, we sometimes need that to bring us back down to ground, right? So when I look at this though, and part of the reason why I went off on that whole tangent, sorry, is that this sign or this card is associated with the moon, right? It's the moon card. And the moon is associated with the sign of Cancer and Pisces oftentimes. It's a very watery, emotional card. But that is very complementary to the sign of Earth, which is Taurus, right? The element of Earth. So I like this as a end out to the not only the week this week, but also to the month, right? And also the fact that we have the new moon happening. Now, when I think about new moons to me are about creation, right? What do we want our next cycle to be about? What do we want this next month to be about? What have we been focusing on? Where have we been building? Where are our desires? What are our ideas? What are our creations, right? And how do we sort of practice around those? How do we focus on those? How do we manifest those? And I kind of feel like this card is sort of reminding us that that's available to us during this day in a very powerful way. I feel like oftentimes the moon is a very like, what's the word? Like it can be a bit confusing, right? It can be a bit dimly lit. Let's just call it that. Sometimes people see the moon as a negative card. Me being a Pisces, I don't. I just see it as an emotional sort of deep, like, intuitional sort of like, I got to make sense of this kind of card. Those that aren't deep in their emotions or in their intuitions don't necessarily feel comfortable in this space. But I think with the new moon happening and the month ending out and we're in Taurus season, I think now is a great time to really think about what is it that we want? How is it that we want it? And I'm saying this at like an emotional level and then putting that new moon power to work for ourselves, right? The one thing I love about this particular deck and this depiction of the moon is that these two wolves are kind of howling to each other from either side of the water, right? They're not necessarily together yet, and they don't necessarily know how to get together, but they are like almost the complementary other half of each other, right? You have light and dark, black and white, the polarities, right? And for some reason, they instill in me this idea of acceptance of oneself at all levels, right? And we do that by going deep into who we are emotionally. And that's kind of where I get from this imagery of her sort of down in the depths of the water, right? The water would be the emotions. Yes, we might feel overwhelmed because sometimes the moon can represent that. We might feel somewhat confused by our emotions, but ultimately, if we allow our own intuition, which would be represented by the moon, to guide us through whatever we're feeling emotionally, we will find our way. We will find acceptance for both the light and the dark, the good and the bad, the left and the right, whatever the polarities are that are existing within us, they're there and they're there for a reason. We live in a universe that's full of polarities. That's the whole point. And so the quicker we find that acceptance around that, not only emotionally, but also like from our intuition, from our spirit, from our, it all kind of, in my mind, it all sort of falls together, right? It, we find it within our emotions. We start to feel okay with who we are, even if we've made mistakes. And remember, it's funny that I'm going down this road about making mistakes. Remember, the stone for this week is that idea of forgive, right? So where can we forgive ourselves for who we are, how we are, when we are? We may not be perfect, but who the fuck is? Like, really? Let's think about it. I was talking to somebody, a friend of mine, on WhatsApp. Excuse me. And he, God, let's clear the throat, girl. I was talking to a friend of mine on WhatsApp, and he and I kind of got into a beef a little bit about me being insecure, because oftentimes I apologize for myself, or I'm always kind of thinking about, I don't know, it's just who I am, right? I'm very kind of, and I think it's part of being like empathic. You're always kind of thinking about things from the standpoint of how am I affecting others, da 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 da. And I understand and appreciate that about myself, but I also see the other side of it from, you know, how it doesn't serve me in some ways, right? And so he gets upset with me because he's like, I don't understand why you're so insecure. And the other day I was having a conversation with him via WhatsApp, and I said to him, I said, you must have insecurities too, right? We all do. It's part of the human experience. And he admitted, he's like, yes, he's like, I have insecurities every day. I said, see, it's not abnormal. What's abnormal to me is the fact that as human beings, we're unable to admit that to ourselves or to each other and feel safe and secure in doing so, right? And that statement, oh, this is a good reading this morning. Maybe I'm wrong. You'll have to let me know in the comments, but I feel like I am on fire this morning, guys. That statement, though, about that idea of admitting, say, our light and our dark, our good and our bad, allowing them to call out to one another and maybe come together in this sort of, more spiritually emotional kind of space and find their way towards one another and find acceptance for them, right? It enables us not only to forgive, right? But it also sort of, I just think that if we're able to admit that, we understand that we're more alike than we are different from each other. And that's even that is a polarity, right? Ultimately, we're a shared collective experience of human beings, but we're also very much living in an individual perspective, right? Of, oh my God, how is this going to affect me? Right. But there's also this aspect of how is it going to affect all of us? So, excuse me. There was somewhere I was going with this and I forgot because I tooted my own horn there and I got a little nervous about doing so. But I feel like the beauty of this is that we get to decide, we get to forgive, we get to understand, we get to go deep, we get to use the moon, the productivity of Taurus, the emotions of whatever's going on within us, and this new moon turnover at the end of the month to move us through. The other thing I will say, the confusion that comes with the moon card, I believe we're in a Mercury retrograde right now, or it's about to begin. So prepare yourself for that. And that could be some confusion too. That could lend to some of this emotionality that the moon represents. But the moon's not here to harm you. It's here to help you understand your depths and appreciate your depths and maybe even forgive your depths, right? And not that there's anything to forgive for them. It's just who you are, finding acceptance for it and then dwelling in it. And I don't mean dwell in a bad way. I mean like finding comfort in that, finding a level of self-acceptance in that, and moving forward can be a very powerful, powerful thing, right? And Taurus as a sign to me is so grounded and productive and forthright and all these wonderful things that let's take this time to maybe emotionally sink in and then say, okay, I'm okay with this. It may not be perfect, but it's who I am. And I'm going to work with it and I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it in this new moon energy towards moving myself forward in a way that serves me. And that's okay, right? That's completely and totally acceptable. And actually warranted, deserved, needed, and go for it, right? So that's my feeling on this card. Oh, that was the other thing that I was going to say about all of this that I forgot. Underpinning this is that Three of Pentacles, Earth energy, right? Which would be associated with the sign of Taurus, right? But that Three of Pentacles is about understanding oneself enough to appreciate the good, the bad, the light, the dark, the emotional, the whatever, the mistakes, the successes, the failures, everything that is the culmination of who we are, right? And emotionally understanding and accepting it, even if it's at times confusing or sometimes overwhelming, and still bringing it to the table through the Three of Pentacles and sharing it, right? Because similar to that quote that I shared the other day, it's like when we bring our true selves to the table and we shine or show our true selves, we liberate others to do the same, right? They instantly walls drop and they feel more comfortable to just be who they are. Similar to my WhatsApp conversation with my friend, he was able to admit that he's just as confused. He's a bit younger than me, right? So he feels as though, he probably has a perception that he's not allowed to be weak. it's like a sign of weakness to say that I don't know, or that I'm unsure, or I feel insecure. When in all actuality, we all fucking feel insecure. It's part of being a human being. None of us have all of the answers 100% of the time. And so I think the moon just allows us to kind of get comfortable with that. All right, let's look to the Sacred Forest Oracle. And again, I just want to say to those of you that watch, and especially my Patreon subscribers, you guys, you mean the world to me. And I mean, I've been doing this for like, what, 3 or 4 years now. I have 570 some odd subscribers. About 30 to 40 of you watch on a regular basis. And I just want to say thank you to those of you that do. I know I don't respond to each and every comment. I do heart them. And I know, you know, I don't need to specifically call out people, but those of you that comment every day, I really do appreciate it, because it just creates activity on the channel. And I know that you guys support me, and I just want you to know that I value that friendship and that support. And I really do consider you guys friends of mine, even though we may only speak via YouTube comments or whatever. Some of us actually do speak on the phone. You all know who you are. But I just want to say thank you. You know, thank you very much. All right, so let's see what the Sacred Forest has to say. Ooh, get it! Card number 11, new card that we've never seen before, living for the purple color. The word is dragon, and the word is power. The interesting thing about this, I love that we're ending on this card this week. She's asleep here. And she's got this globe over her back, and the dragon is watching over her. And she is giving me a bit of the moon vibes. Like, the lady here is down, you know, she's not asleep, but she's sort of drifting down into the water, sinking down into the depths. And this lady here is in her subconscious, right? Sleeping, napping, but she's protected, right, by that dragon. There's a power in knowing who we are, and there's a power in forgiving, you know, who we are. Flaws and all. Does that make sense? And so right out of the gate, I love this. Both of these cards are giving me nocturnal vibes, right? The depths of the blue in the moon card, the depths of the purple hues in the dragon card. So go deep today or tonight with this new moon. Allow yourself to explore who you are, where you feel, what you're all about. You know what I'm saying? Also, I forgot to mention that the moon card is card number 18 in the major arcana. So it's a little bit of a beefier, meatier card, in the sense that this should be a little bit more deep exploratory work. But that 9 to me is about personal completions. So not only are we completing a month, right? The month of April, we're also completing a week, right? A week's worth of readings. We're also having a completion probably around the moon cycle, because the new moon is now beginning tonight. So there's personal completions that we need to maybe be aware of. We could be doing or having personal completions around something that's going on for us, either intuitionally, emotionally, whatever that may be for us. Allow yourself to have that today with that 9 of the moon, and then understand that within that, card number 11, which would be a master number, dragon and power, is that like maybe we're gaining mastery over understanding who we are a little bit better emotionally and spiritually, and allowing sort of what once might have been confusing to no longer have sway or power over us, and just being like shifting into a state of acceptance of that. And we can do that through that forgiveness stone. All right, let me read Dragon to you. I love that we're also leaving the month on a new card from this deck. And again, thank you to Jen for sending me these decks, because they are beautiful. Next month, starting tomorrow, I'm going to start with the 3rd deck, Sacred Traveler. I still have not heard any suggestions as to what deck people want me to use as the tarot deck, so I'm just going to have to come up with something, because I have nothing picked as of yet, but I have an idea. Let's just say that. I've been tinkering with a certain idea of a certain deck, so you're going to just have to see it in tomorrow's new weekly. So Dragon, Power. Let me put my glasses on just so I can read more clearly. Card number 11, guys. You've fallen asleep on the forest floor. The night was cold as you snuggled into some leaves, yet you felt warm and comfortable as you slept. In the early morning, you stretch and open your eyes to find a dragon has lovingly wrapped himself around you in the night. He opens his large eyes and looks at you with kindness and compassion, and you know all is well. I just have to say before I read any further, that to me is like the dark and the light wolf coming together, right? The dragon, which would normally be a scary creature of or an aspect of ourselves, is actually around us, protecting us and looking at us with compassion. Do you get that metaphor there? It's kind of similar, something that we might have previously feared within ourselves is actually an asset. Think about it in those terms. All right, this card suggests it's time to step into your power and take charge of your life. Look to see if there's anyone in your life who is trying to run the show. Speak your truth and take back authority in your own life. You're ready to stand in your strength. If you've lost or given away your authority to someone or something else, it's now time to reclaim it. If you're holding on to limiting beliefs, or if you're afraid of being shunned, judged, or ostracized, it's time to let go of those limitations. Release any fear of misusing your gifts. True strength doesn't dominate or manipulate. It's a gift from the Creator that dwells within you. You have the spiritual power that's born of sacred love, wisdom, and grace. This ability can heal others and bring light into the darkness. You are a radiant, glorious being. Dragon Spirit at your side is a mighty ally. He empowers you with healing and restorative abilities. He helps you overcome any obstacle, and he protects you in all areas of your life. The Spirit of Dragon says, within you dwells the remarkable power to manifest your dreams, gain great riches, and activate ancient wisdom. Take back your power and express your strength with grace. I'm all for that. Let's get the grounding stone for the day. Now, this is just a principle or an idea that we want to ground in while we're doing this work today during the new moon. The grounding stone is health. And I am not mad at this at all. I always look at health as all of the different levels of health: mental health, spiritual health, physical health, emotional health. Grounding in that today, even if we are going to our deeper depths, looking at things that we maybe don't like about ourselves or mistakes that we've made in the past and forgiving those things and finding acceptance as we work through them emotionally with the kind of the murkiness of the moon, but also realizing that we're protected, that we can stand in our own power. All of that lends to this idea of maintaining or bolstering our own health at many different levels. When we heal levels of like emotion or spirit, with those things manifest out into the physical, into the mental realm, right? So grounding in that health, grounding in that forgiveness of others, situations, ourself, and allowing ourselves to be focused on our own well-being, our own health, our own strength, our own power, our own mastery, our own acceptance of both light and dark is really where we want to be today. That is your forecast. Please hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, share the video out, and I look forward to seeing you guys with a new weekly tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. It should be amazing, and enjoy the new moon. Remember, it's all about creation, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.